Welcome to Game of Roses. This is PaceCase.
This is BachelorClues, and today we have an offering for you called the Golden Bachelor Season 2 Top 10 Takeaways. And of course, we'll be talking about how much we loved the season and how incredible it was. But before we get to any of that, we do have to discuss something vaguely. Vague discussion.
A little hint at a tea cellar, Clues?
I mean, this isn't really tea. It just hasn't happened yet. I mean, it happened, but it hasn't aired yet. This morning, PaceCase and I went on a podcast that was one of those moments for us as fans of The Bachelor, as fans of reality television, as people who've been doing this very podcast for 6 years. It was one of those moments where you are kind of pinching yourself and saying, I know we wanted this podcast to get us places and get us to be able to talk to people, but we never thought this would actually happen. It has happened.
No, it was so surreal.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for everyone to listen, see it, maybe. See clips.
I'm not sure if it's just audio.
Listen, I think, mostly.
Yeah.
It was a true joy. True
really
joy
was.
and a pleasure. And really, really reminded me of how strong parasocial relationships can be when you think
Yes.
when you think you know people who have no idea who you are.
Yeah. Exactly. We don't know when this will be out. I'm assuming in the next week or two. If it when it comes out, we'll post it and link it and all that stuff. I think everybody in the pit is going to absolutely love this.
Yeah.
Hopefully as much as we did. It truly was for me one of those moments that's like, I knew this would happen eventually, and here it has now happened. Holy shit.
I mean, you have always been very confident. I hoped for a day like this, but yeah, it was pretty awesome. And what is our other piece of business? Oh, we're doing Slumwa Season 3 in Kazagor. Patreon.com/Game of Roses.
Join us there.
We got to get through it because I don't want to be spoiled.
I know.
I forgot about this.
We also need to discuss the rate at which we are putting them out. I know we talked about once a week. There are some overwhelmingly, I would say, comments that just want it all dumped as soon as we can.
What? No. This is our, we're in charge. As I say to Luca every day, I am in charge.
Okay.
You don't tell me what to do.
All right. Fair enough.
I get it, but
yeah.
Come on now. We haven't even recorded them. We can't even dump anything.
Yeah, I know. We've dumped all the ones we've recorded. They're all in there. One.
You got them
number
all.
One. But no, so far the season is fantastic. Taylor Frankie Paul is a little absent in the early season, apparently. Other than that, it's just a joy to see right now for me, Layla taking center stage, really coming into her own as one of the key players in this franchise. We'll see where it goes. I can't wait. But today, what we are here to do is discuss Golden Bachelor Season 2 for good or bad.
Our top 10 takeaways, our season-long awards we'll give after the takeaways or along the way. Truly a memorable season. We had no trouble coming up with 10 items at all.
I mean, you're saying it was a memorable season. That I 100% agree with. As bad as the season was, I will never forget it because it has there are elements in it that make it like, this must be a turning point. We cannot continue down this path. And for me, it's almost like there's a huge line of demarcation that happens with this season specifically. It is the complete changing of the producerial guard. So it was a new showrunner for Golden. Obviously, Scott Teddy had just turned in his first season of Bachelor in Paradise Season 10, but his first true season of the main game is yet to come. It's also Taylor Frankie Paul is going to be the next Bachelor product we get after this. So it seems like this, for me, this is hopefully, fingers crossed, rock bottom.
It can be hard to know. It feels like rock bottom. I hope you're right. I hope it is rock bottom, and I hope it's not the last Golden Bachelor season.
I think Mel Owens' nickname should be Mel Rock Bottom Owens.
Dang. Got him.
I'm not getting him. He got us. If anything.
He did get us. He got, I mean, good
He got
Lord.
the nation. All right. We're going to begin this top 10 takeaway. And all this is to say, by the way, there were some really good things about this season, almost specifically and exclusively in terms of players and what they were doing and how they were kind of elevating what you can even do in Golden. We're going to get to all of that. Number 10, though, on our top 10 takeaway list is Susan Knowles and Kathy Swartz hosting that sleepover. The idea of like legacy in terms of bringing back old players from prior seasons to essentially corroborate the idea that this is a family that once you're in, and if you can kind of pop off in your season, we're going to bring you back to host group dates or do these little things. In this case, they just like showed up to hang out with the other players because they are superstars, of course, from season 1. And I loved it. This was one of my favorite moments in the whole season.
Me too. They're also the hosts of the Golden Bachelor, only official Golden Bachelor podcast, Golden Happy Hour. And they came to do what they do best, which is just absolutely entertain. And like, I wanted there to be some players from Golden Bachelor season 1 repeated on this season. I will take them as hosts. It was so cute. They're giving advice. They're getting the players to come out of their shell. Got them all to kiss Mel O on the same night. That's fun.
Plus, they're just those two players specifically, I think, like you said, they're the hosts of the official podcast. So obviously the producers recognize in them some kind of superstar talent. I think they're both going to be on the cruise, the Bachelor cruise that's happening in 2026. But they are proof positive that there are fantastic players in the Golden franchise. And the fact that they're coming back, I guess this was in episode 3 or 4, maybe kind of mid-season to inject like this infusion of like just golden power right in the middle of the season. I absolutely loved it. And I hope that they do more stuff like that with the Golden franchise. I can't really remember, but I want to say Kathy might have been up there for my MVP of this most recent Bachelor in Paradise season. Absolutely. She is constantly delivering. She does not waste a second of screen time. When she got her guy, who's she with? Jack?
Keith?
No, Keith. Yeah, when she got Keith, he was like, I'm going to go home. And she's like, no, you're not. Go tell those other players they need to keep us around. And he's like, yes, I will do your bidding. She just like Jedi mind tricked that motherfucker instantaneously
she got
to
the
stay in the game.
Players to accost him.
She's a high level player, and it did my heart good that they brought her into this season. Like I said, there was a lot bad in this season, but some of it was really good. And you could see like this is a Jessica Castro move. She made this decision to have them there, or maybe ABC was like, use some of the old players, but she was the one who had to figure out, let's do this slumber party where they're given like, dating advice and how to make out with Mel.
Vibrators.
I just thought that it was stuff. Like, it was very well done. And it gives you the idea of like, what could this season have been if it wasn't Mel Owens?
Yeah, they brought out sides of the players that we hadn't seen before and like sexy secrets and stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of not sexy secrets, our number 9 top takeaway from this season was the Mel O apology. He went on an apology tour that started in his first moments of screen time. We saw him pondering on the dock, doing this voiceover. We had been calling for Mel O to do an apology based on the podcast for quite some time, and perhaps we're affecting the show. This needed to happen at the beginning of the season to satisfy those of us who were still going to watch the show after his remarks. Did it change anything? Did it bring in viewers? Probably not. Did it serve its function?
We have hardcore evidence to that fact.
That's another number on the list. But I'm glad that the production made him do it, addressed it. They wrote some of my favorite roasts were about it through the season.
And just to be clear, you were asking if it satisfied us, the fourth audience. Just in case Madison Pruitt is listening, I know Jesus is the only one that satisfies. What the apology, though, for me, what it meant was the producers, Jessica Castro, understood this was a problem. And it, in my mind, separated the responsibility for why this season was so bad from the producers. Jessica Castro was doing everything she could to get this season on track, but she was forced to use Mel Owens. That's not a decision she made. That comes from the network. And so she's like, whether she listened to our podcast or not and took our advice or just inherently thought this was a good idea, we don't know. But she did make him do it. And it wasn't done well. Most of the apology was off base in voiceover as he's like looking at docs and shit in OC. And it was just like, is that because he's bad performer? Like, you know, I don't know. I mean, but
it was an apology tour. He continues to do it through the limo exits. And in his inauguration speech, he includes it as well. But just completely necessary for someone who publicly stated that he was against the very premise of the show.
Yeah. And it's a tricky line to walk. You know, you're opening your show with the lead of your show apologizing to everyone else in the show and to the audience.
Yeah.
Usually not a good way to start any show.
Not a fun vibe.
Exactly. It's very like, oh, I fucked up. Please watch this anyway.
Sorry, I said I'd never bang anyone over 60.
He didn't say that. He just said he wouldn't date over 60.
Oh.
See what I've done there?
Age is just a spiritual... What did he end up saying?
I don't know. Something
the
about
spirit has no age. Yeah.
Yeah. My spirit has... Most spirits have no age. Mine is 10,000 years old, however.
Peg's spirit is under 60. That's all that matters.
Yes, he has a youthful spirit. But I did think the apology was... It's interesting because I don't believe we've seen that except kind of from Brad Womack's season 2. His second season as Bachelor. There was a little tone of that, and they let one of the players slap him in the face in her limo exit.
One of the players, the runner-up.
Yeah.
Slapped him.
But we
don't do physical violence anymore.
Yeah, correct. Well, we'll see. The future is yet to be told. But also, that his apology was for something he did in game, which was the transgression he committed in his first season by not selecting either of the finalists. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, well, I've got to apologize for that. Now I am really serious and ready for a proposal, blah, blah, blah. I even brought my therapist who's going to be a character in the season. That was kind of like still all within game. Mel Owens here has to apologize for something he did outside of the game in a rogue podcast appearance where he's essentially saying, I denounce the premise of the show I'm about to lead.
I mean, yeah, it definitely makes Womack's transgressions look not as bad, but theoretically not choosing someone at the end is against the premise of the show as well. So
it is, but with Womack, at least as I remember that season, it was more like he did come into this wanting to get engaged and it just didn't work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's technically not his fault. You know what I mean? He went through the process.
Right. He wasn't saying in document, I will not get engaged.
Exactly. It would have been awesome if at the end Mel Owens was like, oh, actually, I'm technically still married. Therefore, I cannot get married. Wait, what? It's called The Bachelor. You understand what that word means?
Maybe that is true.
Technically, the divorce papers haven't concluded. Moving on to number eight, most important top 10 takeaway from Golden Bachelor Season 2 is, of course, that sport known as football and pro sports generally as a part of this. Mel Owens... Well, how to start this even? It's like The Bachelor, our beloved game, has forever been tied to the NFL. Way back in the early days, Jesse Palmer himself, the lead of season 5, was an active duty NFL quarterback during his season for the New York Giants. He had other New York Giants like Tiki Barber was on his season, flipping through the binders of women with him and stuff. We've seen Colton Underwood. We've seen Clay Harbor. We've seen
Trista Sutter was a NFL cheerleader, right? Our first bachelorette. I think so.
I think you're right. NFL cheerleaders. We now see in the modern era, there's all kinds of players are married to NFL players. Hannah and Sluss and Funk and Sluss. You know.
Obviously, Sluss and Funk.
You know Sluss and Funk and Sluss. You know them. This is the first time, though, that we have seen an NFL player of this caliber in our beloved game. Mel Owens was like a legit star. He was drafted in the first round of the NFL draft in 1981, played 9 seasons as a linebacker with the Rams. That's a significant NFL career.
Apologies. Trista danced for the Miami Heat.
Okay, close. NBA.
Yeah.
At any rate, that element of this, we got to see a little bit play out when Dark Lord Palmer and Mel Owens were throwing the football around a little bit. We got to see Mel Owens throw the football around with whose family was it?
Debbie's brothers.
Brothers, yeah. So it kind of like played a little bit of a part in the actual season, but the idea, I think, we're going to get to our number. I'll just reveal one of our later numbers is Mel Owens himself. And I think this NFL thing was a huge part of his good on paper and why ABC did not take any kind of advice to recast him after this disastrous podcast appearance. I think that NFL thing was like, no, this guy's he's legit. That's going to be great because of the NFL.
I like his 2 main things are the NFL and being a lawyer, and they didn't focus on the lawyer bit at all.
Yeah, other than at the very end when his friend Diane, I believe her name was part of his meeting of the family, and he was like, "She's also
lawyers think with their heads, not their hearts."
Yeah, exactly.
It's lawyer walls.
That's what it is. Yeah, he's like, Mel's like, the reason I can't smile ever or say anything is because I'm a lawyer.
I can't smile.
Yeah. Lawyers don't smile, they litigate. We also had, by the way, it wasn't just football. We had Carol was in this season. She was the aunt and manager of a Major League Baseball player called Freddie Freeman. For those who don't know, Freddie Freeman is a massive superstar. He plays for the LA Dodgers. He was the MVP of the World Series last year. He hit some very important home runs, or at least one in this World Series, which the Dodgers also won, which she was at in the audience of the World Series. I saw her.
Is that why she self-eliminated?
Yeah, she's like, I got to get to the fucking World Series. No, all this shit was shot before the World Series.
Yeah, she came in the jersey. And we've seen limo exits in the jerseys, in the helmets, etc. No, I feel like NFL and Bachelor have been intertwined for, as you're saying, since the beginning of the game, and it is really the only reason that I can think of that they kept this casting, or he has some like dirt on the people who work at ABC. I don't know. These are the only 2 options.
I mean, I have some other ideas, which we'll get to in one of our later numbers, but I do think that NFL thing, like, he was a legit NFL star. Like, he was a very well-known defensive player. One of the best.
Like Colton?
Colton who?
Colton Underwood?
He never played in the NFL. He was on a practice team for like half a year. He never played, like, set foot on a field in the actual NFL.
Andrew Spencer?
Same. Clay Harbor. I think Clay Harbor's the same. I think he was also practice squad also.
Matt James, Tyler Cameron?
They were just D1 college football players. They never even were on an NFL roster. But that is all in the same, to me, kind of sphere. If you're a high-level D1 college football player, which Mel Owens also was, that's like in the arena of NFL, you know, in my opinion. It's like there's a similar kind of mentality, mindset that all these dudes have that come into the game. And you heard Mel Owens talking about how it's like a football game. You hear all these guys who have played sports at that level talking about how, like, The Bachelor is like coming out of the tunnel at an NFL game or doing this or whatever. They always liken it to their time in football. And I don't think that's coincidental.
it's also a mental toughness, I think, that you have to have, just like going into this game.
Yeah.
Our number 7 top takeaway is the incorporation of a micro show into our beloved game, with Jared Freid hosting the comedy roast. He did one of my favorite lines of the season, calling Mel O Tommy Bahama Frankenstein.
Yeah, that was great.
Couldn't have been more apt. And it was a joy to see this kind of fan service and recognition that there is this whole ecosystem, including us, right outside, around the periphery of the game. And to see, they kind of did this with Bachelor in Paradise, when they flew in some of the TikTok influencers, to kind of pump up the season. But it's like, yes, of course, incorporate your super fans, incorporate all of these things. The true super fans, I think, are the only ones who have stuck around for this season,
100%. And I love Jared Freid. He's a gore girl, obviously. I think he's super funny. I love when he watches The Bachelor on his Instagram stories and like yells back at the screen and stuff. That's absolutely hilarious. And it just fits so perfectly in doing an artistic performance, stand-up, specifically in this case, a roast. Jared Freid is a stand-up comic, so it fits exactly perfectly. When we finally get the call to host a group date, it's going to be a Huju competition that will fit exactly perfectly.
I feel like I could also host like a crying competition.
Interesting. How would that go? Please describe for me how the crying competition.
Who can produce tears fastest?
And you have to fill like a jug or something?
Maybe.
Who can fill up to
by volume. Interesting. Yeah, I would just go by speed.
Who can cry the quickest?
Bring in Ashley Iaconetti, bring in Kelsey Weir, bring in Rachel Recchia, all the famous criers.
And just be like, okay, 3, 2, 1, cry.
Yeah.
And whoever drops tear first wins.
Yeah.
I would go volume. I would make it more like the Sean Lowe farm obstacle course date where they had to milk the goats up to they had to fill a jug with goat milk, and then Desiree Hartsock had to pour it all over herself. I would do that with the tears. I would say, who can cry 5 gallons of tears first and go? You're doing it right now. I'm like, holy shit. PaceCase won 10 seconds, 5 gallons of tears spilled. No, I absolutely love this. And I think it is showing, in my opinion, that like you're saying too, with the influencers like K York City that they flew in to cover Paradise, they're starting to absorb that a little more. They're starting to understand that the coverage tier of podcasts around The Bachelor that are not the big ones like Nick Viall and Caitlin Bristow, former players, but other people who cover this that have never been in the show are important to the franchise, because we keep the fandom going even when it's out of season, even when it's a bad season. We keep the interest like to some degree there, we keep the fandom still engaged with the franchise, with the property, even without it being on the air. And that's like crucial. This ecosystem is crucial to maintaining the show's importance in an ever growing community of giant dating formats like Love Island, Love is Blind, Perfect Match. What was that one? Cabin Fever. What was it? Boot Camp.
What? Oh, Battle Camp.
Battle Camp. It's been canceled. Battle Camp's off the air.
R.I.P. that. Dark Lord Football. Sorry.
Yeah. Mel O should host that show.
It also is a nod to incorporating social media more, which is just a part of life, a fact of life. And the casting of Taylor Frankie Paul and letting her have her phone the whole time. All of these feel like good steps towards somewhat modernizing the Bachelor franchise.
I'm with Taylor Frankie Paul. I'm just like, I am salivating at the idea that she's going to do a rogue post. I know all the posts she's done so far have had to like, she showed them to the producers. Can I post this?
What do you mean? She already did a rogue post.
Wait, what? What was the rogue?
Where she did like a dance and she says the middle girl in this was like was like banging my baby daddy, Dakota.
What?
And then they made her take it down. Well, she took it down. I don't know if they made her. I assume they made her.
Yeah. I meant more like, here's who wins my season. That type of shit.
I can definitely see her leaking the winner, especially because they're going to take months to edit it. And
yeah, but it's like, it doesn't, even if she did that, great. I don't think that ruins the season. It's like in the beginning of Slumwa, season 1, the opening scene is her getting arrested, and you're like, what the fuck? And then they have to build back up to how that happened. You almost want to use that as like a preseason teaser so that people are like, oh my God, this guy fucking wins. Oh shit, I can't, how's he gonna? And then you see him come out of the limo and you're like, that's the fucking guy. I don't think like spoiling a season in quotes necessarily means people won't watch it. I think that's a very old mentality of television.
Well, I go back and forth because I've become almost pathological about spoilers.
Yeah.
I would love to see her spoil the final 2. So then you're like, it's not the whole show, but you know who you're watching.
I would like to see her spoil whoever the guy is that she kicks off the show and just put like his picture up and just text on it that says, fuck this asshole. Something like that. And you're like, oh my God, what is she going to do to that guy?
She posts the demonstrator meme where there's the Grim Reaper and she's the Grim Reaper and she's like, X.
Sure, why not?
I do hope we see some, if it's not a spoiler, I hope we see some unhinged social media play from her. I think we will. I think
we will too. And during season, are you fucking kidding me? I just think we're in for such a goddamn treat. Whatever. We're not here to talk about Taylor Frankie Paul yet.
No.
This is the power of Taylor Frankie Paul, by the way. We're doing the top 10 takeaways from Mel O in season 2 of Golden Bachelor. Somehow talking about Jared Freid led to Taylor Frankie Paul.
All roads do.
That's her power. She's just so the focal point of anything she's in at all times, including a conversation that's not even about her.
I can't
Moving
wait.
on. Our number 6 top 10 takeaway from this season of Golden Bachelor season 2 is a self-elimination heard round the world by Cindy. Now, this usually we always say self-elimination is the biggest error. Never do it. It is a taboo. It is a cardinal sin of our beloved game. I stand by that. But as with all rules to any game, there are exceptions. Rare though they may be, there are exceptions, and this is one of them. She did it pretty much perfectly. She made it all the way to technically the end, because Golden, once it gets to Fantasy Suites, it's down to the 2 finalists, at least this season was. So she had already made it to the finals. She recognized in Mel Owens a lead who is not keeping up with the premise of the show. There was a for the wrong reasonsness to his play style. She capitalized on that by doubling down on her own for the right reasons play style and saying, if you can't even do the thing that's the premise of the show, I'm out. It elevated her in a capacity to potentially be the next Golden Bachelorette. It certainly put her at the front of that line, I think, saying, I am ready to get married right now. If you're not, bye-bye.
For all the reasons you're saying, and the calculation that it takes to be able to evaluate The Bachelor and what kind of edit he's going to get while you're in the very season.
Yeah.
Cindy's self-elimination was my play of the season. I think if the franchise continues, she is in that top spot to possibly get the next, to be the Golden Bachelorette for this reason.
Cindy's self-elimination was also my play of the season. Like I said, I will probably never do this again in the history of Bachelor, but this one was just so powerful. The timing was so correct. The reasoning was so airtight, bulletproof. It's so for the right reasons. And I don't know that it's kind of like a perfect storm. You can only do a self-elimination play like this, that's this powerful and accurate, if you have a lead like Mel Owens, who is that terrible.
There is one other circumstance in which you can do it. And our first Golden Bachelorette, Joan Vassos, did it. Daughter giving birth, need to help her, self-elimination.
Yeah, but whatever. That ain't like this.
I think she would have gotten cast anyway, but...
But the Vassos thing is like, yes, if there are extenuating circumstances in life outside the game that pull you away for a medical emergency, a birth, whatever, fine. That has nothing to do with the game. Cindy is making this decision off of straight first audience gameplay. She's like, this fucking guy doesn't know what show he's on. Let me go ahead and show him about that. And then she just, boom, 4 TRR, go fuck yourself, dude. I'm out. Peace. And then her performance at the after the final rose, also flawless.
Yeah.
And I just feel like she has played this very exotic play, at least in terms of making it good. Usually self-elimination is just like a waste. You're giving up screen time. You're giving up any kind of possibility to do anything else in the game. But
giving up screen time, giving up more of a victimization at it.
Yeah, exactly. But here it was like the self-elimination almost gave her the victimization at it, that she had been led on by this guy who's not down to do the very premise of the show. And she's like, well, I am though. And so now, hopefully, if there is another golden product after this disaster, hopefully she will be given that chance to make good on the implied promise that she is 4 TRR in Golden Bachelorette season 2.
Yeah, I mean, we had seen Carol do a self-elimination a few episodes prior, but it was way too early, and she sacrificed that victimization at it. I guess she had to get to the World Series, but
she had to plan her outfits for the World Series. Yeah, no, I just, Cindy really was like, there were just so many players that were good, but she really did this play in a way that I just, again, I don't know that there will be the opportunity for a player to make a play like this ever again. Because especially in the Golden franchise, like you're watching this season, you see what Mel has done. I don't think another lead is going to make any of these mistakes again. I don't see how they could.
Hopefully, because these mistakes caused our number 5 top takeaway from this season: declining ratings. The Golden Bachelor was the worst rated Bachelor product in the history of the franchise. Yes, it includes whatever other show you're thinking of. Worse than that. Averaging in the mid-point ones, where the first season of Golden Bachelor was averaging in the mid-point 5s.
Yeah, that's rough.
Low.
That's real rough. You're down, what is that, 80%?
Yeah.
From the first iteration of this. And Joan Vassos' season was also very poorly rated, but it did way better than this season did. And I know it kind of, goes to the next tier of this conversation, which is, what does that mean if it's this terrible in the ratings? It was losing every Monday night to all of the other networks, pretty much. It would beat Fox every once in a while. So, take that for what it is. No offense, Fox.
Get them.
But the bottom line is, what does it mean to have numbers like this? Well, ABC makes all of its money from ratings. That is a broadcast network. Yes, they also have a deal with Hulu to air this the day after. Yes, they also have a deal now. By the way, it's back on with YouTube TV. They have their Disney. Yes, Disney has completed the deal, so you can now watch ESPN and ABC and all the Disney-owned channels on YouTube TV again. But the ratings primarily are where ABC is making all of their money. And those ratings mean how much money can we charge to run an ad in the course of this show. If those numbers are extremely low like this, they ain't making that money. And then it starts to have rubber meets the road. Well, how much does it cost to produce an episode of this show versus how much are we making on the ads? And if those numbers, if the profit is not higher than the production cost, your show gets canceled. Even if the profit is only a little more than the show cost, your show gets canceled. So I'm not sure where it stands. It's not in a good place. And I guarantee you there have been meetings had already that are of the nature of deciding, should we do the Golden franchise anymore? I don't know what the, kind of deciding factor in that is or what the final decision is. But I also think, not to turn back to Taylor Frankie Paul, but we must.
There he goes.
I think the performance of her season is going to have a drastic impact on the entire franchise, including Golden. If 100%. She can deliver numbers that we've never seen before, or at least in this modern era, which I'm pretty confident she will. I think they may be like, fuck it, do them all, run them all.
Fuck it, Leanne's Golden Bachelorette.
God, please. Please.
This is TFP's mother.
Yeah, just the entire
who I think has a husband.
Who cares? We can get rid of that guy.
Doesn't
easy.
matter. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Accidents happen.
Jesus.
Whose fault is it now?
What does that say about you?
Yeah, that's what he said. What does that say about ye? Anyways.
So fun. Speaking of TV villains, our number 4 top takeaway. We didn't really get this in season 1 of Golden Bachelor, but we got a true villain in this season with Nicole. She was this open power villain. We had her get a villain edit at pretty much every chance they got to show it. They did it with the lemon bars, with her saying she's not dating Mel, she's dating America, with her insulting the looks of the season 1 Golden Bachelor players. It had it all. And they were kind of villainizing her job, her goal to be an influencer, which is a very interesting choice, given, not to bring it back to TFP, but because TFP is the next lead.
Yeah.
And influencer is a job.
Totally. I mean, that it's tied together, I think. And like I said, I believe this season's a turning point. I think this might be the last season in any Bachelor product where you can vilify influencing Instagram. I'm here for the followers.
I hope so.
Certainly you cannot do that in Taylor Frankie Paul's season in any capacity. And I would even argue that if a guy tries to do that to her, he may be gone because of that.
I hope so.
And so if her season is going to be massively successful, which we think it is, every season that comes after, at least for the near future, will have to be okay with influencing. And so with Nicolle, I think you have, unfortunately for her, it was kind of a mixture of bad plays and producers who are like, fuck you for being an influencer.
Yeah.
I think there was still the taste of that was in the air of the producer cast in terms of, if you say the word Instagram, if you say that you're here for followers, we're going to roll you. And they did. That said, I loved a lot of what she did with that open villain play, because that is not a play style we see very often. I don't know if she was aware that she was doing it, but she was fucking doing it. That
making out with him in the middle of the pool in front of everyone.
Or when they were having that conversation, she was like, give me a kiss for the cameras. That stuff is like, what the hell? I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. But there was like, if I could have coached her, and maybe I'm revealing now that I didn't, but if I could have coached her, there was like a lack of awareness that she was doing it, which I think could have turned it up a notch if she was aware of it. If like, don't say those things when you're around Mel and the other players, say them in your ITMs. Have this kind of like double nature where you're like one person when you're around the players, but then in the ITMs, you're the real villain. That would have been fantastic. Nonetheless, I liked what she did. She was an entertaining player. She did, like you said, she brought this new kind of dynamic that we haven't yet seen in Golden, which is an actual villain.
Yeah, I like a lot of this season was a quote trudge for us, but she brought like some very interesting things that were fun to watch.
Yeah. As BachelorClues said on November 7th, it was a quote trudge.
I mean, it's hard to reach the official trudge level.
Yeah. My only complaint with Nicolle, I mean, I have a bunch, I guess, but my biggest one maybe is how she handled the tell-all. I thought she did nothing to either reestablish herself as a villain and fuck you, I wasn't here to make friends, or to really apologize in any way that gave her a shot at redemption. She was just kind of like she was there at the tell-all.
Yeah, she like loosely apologized to the first season of Golden Women, but especially if you want to be an influencer, these are your influencing partners.
Yeah, I mean,
one of my biggest errors.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of the players and some of their errors, our number 3 top 10 takeaway from this season of Golden Bachelor was the exact opposite. The high level of play from almost everybody else in this cast. We saw in Golden Bachelor season 2 an elevation of skill. I don't know that we've ever seen that from one season to the next, where it's that drastic. And season 1 has some good fucking players. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Season 2 was just like every player was a heavy hitter. Yeah. Peg, just the energy, the bomb squad, everything she did.
The unicycling.
God damn it. We'll get to number 2. But you had Carol, who's related to, at this point, in this moment in sports history, one of the most famous baseball players on the fucking planet. Not only related to him, she manages the man's career. You see. Yeah.
Huge celebrity attachment there. We had Alexandra, who both Chad and I, when we were writing this document, wrote at the same time, gone too soon. Yeah. She was so funny. Her colorful narration, everything she was doing, definitely gone too soon. We had Cindy, who I think is going to be up there in our MVP of the season. She seems to have basically been cast to be the next Golden Bachelorette. Yeah. Her play style was absolutely incredible. To quote Jesse Palmer, classy or something.
To quote Jesse Palmer, unquote, classy. I don't know what he said exactly.
He did it with class. Yeah. Made it not a trudge. Yeah. And
anti-trudge technology.
Diane also gone too soon. We didn't get enough Diane. Who was the other one? We had incredible PTCs by Cheryl and Deb. Yeah. I'm remembering.
It was, from the beginning, I remember when we were going through the Instagrams, it was just like, what is going on? There were women like lifting trucks with their bare hands and shit. And I'm just like, who are these people? They're superheroes. It was crazy. And like a lot of those players got eliminated in the first week or two. And you're just like, what are we watching here? The
you're players talking about Carla. Carla was like the most jacked contestant ever.
Yeah. Just like these superstar, stellar ass players. Unfortunately, they were playing against the worst first audience we've probably ever seen in the game. All that said, they still shined, especially the players who made it into the late game. And I just think like the level of play that you can now expect from the Golden franchise, if indeed it continues, it has been, the bar has been raised.
Yeah.
To a massive amount.
Amy, who was hilarious and also had 2 famous TikTok daughters. Jerry, who I thought was like also up there for next Golden Bachelorette, incredible PTC play. I mean, the puppeteer, the Texas Tooth Lady. I mean, just absolutely stacked. I'm like looking back. I'm like, it's hard to not just name everyone. I'm like,
it really felt to me like
that was Terry,
like a Bachelor season, like a regular Bachelor season from, somewhere in the season 18, 19, 20, 21 range, where it's just like, who are all these amazing players, so different, all their play styles so strange to one another. And yet as a kind of ensemble cast, it just works so well. Like, I forget the woman who had the puppet.
Terry.
Yes.
Terry, the Texas Tooth Lady.
She had a goddamn puppet. And I was just like, seems normal to me. Did not seem out of place at all when she's talking to Mel Owens with a goddamn puppet during their one-on-one time. And I'm just like, yep, that's her play style. She's a puppet player.
It was definitely a season where I was like, don't cut anyone on night 1.
Totally. Except Mel Owens. That's who they should have cut. All that said, let's move on to our number 2 most important takeaway from this season.
Maybe it should be number 1.
It is, of course, me. You see.
Yes.
This was the first season of any Bachelor product, to my knowledge. Maybe I'm walking around the background of a shot.
To
and I don't even
knowledge. I don't know. You go to the Grove a lot.
That is true. It is the first season, to my knowledge, that I was in the document. It was for Peg and Mel's OC fair date. I went to the OC fair that day. I saw Peg standing outside the gates with her producers doing, in my mind, I'm now like really playing it up to be something it wasn't. I'm like, she was doing standing backflips. I saw it. No,
you basically said that.
She wasn't doing
right
that.
When you got back.
She was doing like jumping jacks and stretches and high kicks and stuff, kind of pumping herself up. It's 500 degrees out that day. I'm just standing there sweating, and she's doing all this crazy stuff. And I trailed her basically as she came in to give Mel his first hug. I walked around behind them as they were playing games. I kind of tracked them down for the whole day. Rode on the Ferris wheel with them at the same time, which was footage they cut out of the show. You never got to see them making out on the Ferris wheel. And now I'm like, she was the ring winner. They did it to trick you, essentially, to make the relationship not appear. It. Yeah, of course.
If you haven't seen this yet, Clues is wearing his Latia Gar, come on now, bright blue hat. Although the logo has been blurred in it. You can very clearly see him in the background of a couple of these shots. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
When she won the ring, I was like, it makes it even more special that you were there.
I influenced that. I put my juju on it.
And you were, I remember when you got back, you were super impressed. You were talking about the high kicks. You were like, the amount of energy this player had was absolutely bonkers.
My favorite moment of the day was when we were in line to go on the Ferris wheel, and how it worked out was like they had kind of these different little holding lines where once you got through the main line, they would be like, you go down there, how many people in your party, whatever. Mel Owens and Peg were kind of at the first most one of those little lines. And I think we were in stall like 4 or 5, but we could still see them. And there were cameras around them and everybody was kind of looking over like, what's going on? And there was a woman standing immediately in front of us with her 2, I'm assuming one or maybe both of these were her teenage daughters, or maybe it was a teenage daughter and a friend. I don't know. But this woman was like, oh my God, what's going on? Who is that? And I was like, that's Mel Owens. He's the season 2 Golden Bachelor. He played for the Los Angeles Rams for 9 seasons and a lot of controversy surrounding that guy. He went on a podcast, said some very not nice things about the entire Golden franchise. They cast him anyway. We tried to tell him not to. I just started going crazy and giving her like a 10-minute dissertation on who he is, what he means to the franchise, why this season has a lot riding on it, et cetera, et cetera. And
they're literally trapped in this line.
Yeah,
cannot get anywhere.
Their only other option is to step in front of the moving Ferris wheel and die. I say all this stuff, and this woman's reaction is this. She goes, wow, you know a lot about The Bachelor. And then I just didn't have the heart to be like, you have no idea.
So funny.
But it was a great day, a great experience, one I will never forget. And for that reason, I am my own Jorge Moreno bystander of the season.
I was so excited to see you in document. I screamed and texted you as soon as your little hat popped up. And you were also my Jorge Moreno bystander of the season.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I will cherish it forever. There is something to me that makes it even better that it was the worst season of any Bachelor product ever created. That's the one I'm in.
Oh my God. I'm in like 2 of the best.
I know. Lucky. Damn.
Sean Lowe's Women Tell All and a group date on Caitlin Bristow's season. Now I'm remembering who else was on that group date. Never mind.
Who was it? Who might it have been?
I can't say.
Was it the great one?
I don't think he was there.
Oh.
No, I don't know. Mind. It might have been too early in the season. Okay. All of these were strong takeaways from the season. But of course, our top takeaway that we will have from the season, or tied with Chad for number 1, is Mel O himself. The most disastrous casting we've ever seen in our lives, studying this game from beginning to end. The worst lead in franchise history, perhaps. He was against the premise before even shooting the show. They had time to recast. They had the time, and we must never forget that.
Who's worse? Who do you think could possibly be worse as a lead in the Bachelor franchise?
Well, I'm just leaving it open to the future.
Oh, God, please. This is rock bottom. We have hit rock bottom. We ain't going no deeper than rock bottom.
I don't know if someone like went on to become like a horrific leader of the country, perhaps, like that could happen.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Then I would consider them the worst lead. I don't know. I'm just like...
You're saying the only way to make a worse lead than Mel O is just to cast Donald Trump as the Bachelor? That's pretty fucking bad.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Yes, that is what I'm saying. I don't know. It feels like mean to call someone the worst lead in franchise history, but
there are objective metrics that have nothing to do with our personal feelings. Those ratings are the worst of all time.
But I mean,
do you put that on?
Yeah, like there's just so many different metrics. Is it ratings? Is it social media followers? Is it people's feelings about the season?
Take all of those things. They're all the worst.
Yeah. He went on the Go Blue podcast before the season shot, talked about how he told producers, literally it's show specific, they didn't want anyone over 60, no wigs, no fake hips, no all of these, offending multiple different groups of people. He then, during the show, says he's going to refuse to propose. The whole premise of the show is someone proposing to someone above 60 years old. What is he going to be remembered for the most? I think the hokas, the shoes,
I agree.
The stiffness, and we're left wondering why they cast him, why they didn't change their minds, why didn't they cast someone from Golden Bachelorette season 1? Plenty of options.
I agree. It's very strange. I keep kind of going back and forth of like I think ABC doesn't understand like how much these podcasts and kind of the peripheral coverage world of The Bachelor actually affects the fandom. So I think they thought, he went on this podcast. Yeah, it's on Reddit. Nobody knows about this. No one will care. I think that's what they initially thought. But then I'm like looking at his performance and I'm like, even without the podcast, this guy is boring as hell. How are you casting him? Or even like he doesn't really talk about how his relationship ended with his ex-wife or why that ended. It's always just like, yep, that's over. Now I'm moving on. But why is it over? You know, those things that kind of like would humanize him or make him an interesting character, they didn't even include in the season. His performance is dull. There's like a light
implication that she went with someone else.
Yes.
But they never get into it.
Exactly. So it was even in like his unwillingness to talk about himself personally, let alone engage in what the premise of the show is, let alone try to look like he's awake in any scene.
Yeah, ask a question from any of the players.
He's just sitting there like, so Mel, I like to travel and I like to do this. Yeah. What do you like to do? It was unbearable. And I don't understand how he was ever cast. Then on top of that, he says this shit on a podcast.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. Keep going with him.
No, he's great TV. Keep him.
Those shoe jokes. I can't wait to see how many jokes we do about his shoes. I just don't understand. Somewhere in the chain of command, some bad decision was made and they stuck with it. Yeah. Either pride, arrogance, stupidity. I don't know what the reason was that they stuck with this guy, but they did. And it was a detrimental decision, obviously. Worst rated product in the history of the franchise. Who is responsible for that? I don't specifically know, but I'm guessing it's an executive at ABC. And so you have to ask yourself, well, why are they making these bad casting decisions? Why is there nobody in that process that can like pick a lead anymore?
It's so many things going wrong. We don't know who forced this through. But because and partially because we don't know that, Mel O's appearance on the M Go Blue podcast in the preseason was my error of the season. I wonder if we would have even like, I don't think we would, but I think we might have seen his performance as less stiff and bad if we didn't already come into it with like super negative feelings about the casting. I don't know.
I agree with you. I think you're right on that.
I don't know.
But I will say Mel Owen's casting was my error of the season. And again, I don't know who made this final decision. And I'm like, is it the same person or small group of people who decided to put Taylor Frankie Paul as the Bachelorette? Like, can one person or one small group of people be responsible for both the best and worst casting decision in the history of the franchise? I don't know. But they
only have one thing in common, that they weren't on the show before.
That's true. Yeah, they're both clean. No rookie seasons. But yeah, I just think it was sad to see. Again, you know, we talked about this a little bit up top with the quality of the players, that like they didn't have anybody to play off. They did not have a first audience. He was basically absent even when he was on screen. I don't think anyone cared if he fell in love or not. And even him, you know, at the end, didn't seem like he gave a fuck. He was like, oh yeah, here's the ring. Let's keep dating. All right, cool. Want to go see a movie? I'll try not to fall asleep during it. It was just terrible. He was terrible. And I hope lessons were learned. I hope they never do anything like this again. Especially like you were saying, they just had so many candidates from Golden Bachelorette season 1 that would have been fantastic in this. Fantastic.
Like, if you're going to stunt cast, like pick
Timothée Chalamet.
Pick I forget.
Have you seen
Kyle's ex-husband from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Like, pick a housewives ex-partner. You know, pick someone who's got some chops.
George Clooney.
He'd
sure. Be a great Golden Bachelor.
Doesn't he have a wife?
I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
Get him divorced. Get him on the show. There are just a million other choices that they had from in-house that Jonathan, Charles, Jack, let me show
even
you how to
Keith,
cook a hamburger.
Girl Dad, like any of them.
Keith, yeah, there were so many.
Gary. Hello, Gary, Gary was available.
Yeah, especially after they had them putting in this work on Paradise.
I know.
It's like, what was that for? You made them like creep around in the hot sand and do this weird...
They almost killed Captain Kim.
Captain Kim. I'd watch Captain Kim. That motherfucker have a new song for every date.
I want that man to just relax.
Not me.
We must protect the captain.
Anyways.
Not me. Yeah, I know.
Is that Captain Kim?
He said, stop. I would be the Golden Bachelor. I'll do it.
Yeah. That's it, though. That's our top 10 takeaways. Yeah. Mel Owens, thank you for your service, despite the service being subpar. I do realize it's hard to be a lead of this show. You just happen to do it worse than anyone.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you could.
Thank you. Did you have a faceplay of the season?
I did. My faceplay of the season was Mel Owens' stone face fireworks face after Cindy self-eliminates, dumps him there on the beach, and he's left to sit under the exploding fireworks and rendered zero emotion. We're not even talking about a furrowed brow. It's nothing. It's just a straight, smoothed face. I guess I'm here now.
It might be a still photograph over a video of fireworks.
Yeah. That's how you find out he was doing all kinds of weird shit with his face, and they were like, we can't have this. It's too creepy. Just put a fucking still image over him.
I was looking back through our face plays. I loved the one where he's about to vomit in the
that's a good one
thing. But my face play of the season goes to Carol in episode 2. In one of her ITMs, she holds up her face.
Yes, I remember that.
And it is it's a scream-like gesture that really, I feel like, for me, kind of exemplified the trudge as well as being an excellent face play.
Yeah, pain and pleasure in one. How about your creature of the season?
The humping turtles were my creature of the season.
That's a good one.
I love to see a creature doing some wild play, like the shitting donkey we had in whatever. Was that Matt James's season?
Yeah, season 25. He was on a date with Serena.
It's hard to make that kind of an impact, but
come in with a full colon.
Proliferation of the turtle species. I love to see them just thriving.
If you're a creature out there listening to this and you know you're going to be on a date the next day, make sure you're eating 5 to 10 burritos the night before.
Oh my God.
Depending on your size as a creature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a turtle, 1 burrito maybe.
I mean, yeah, there's some interacting with the cast is a good way, getting a name, but fornication is really, you just don't see that very often.
I agree. My creature of the season did not fornicate, but the Rays were my creatures of the season. They were, unbeknownst to us at the time, a metaphor for Mel Owen's unwillingness to engage with any element of the show. Cindy's out there swimming around with these beautiful, majestic, prehistoric creatures. Oh, look how beautiful. They're like little dogs. They're like puppies. Come on, pet it, Mel. I'm not getting in that water. He refused to even participate in just an activity on a date, let alone finally become engaged. And I thought that the Rays, they were treated to that disrespect before any other humans were. So hats off to you, Rays. And they
enveloped Cindy like a mermaid.
Yeah.
I did love when the Ray instructor was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And Mel O goes, yeah, I bet.
Not for me, thank you.
Not for me, but I could see that for you.
I'll just be over here on the beach, expressionless, staring into the sun. Who was your MVP?
For her enchanting the Rays, for her gorgeous, classy hometown play, for her my play of the season, coming off even more for TRR than the lead. Cindy was my MVP.
Yeah. Cindy was also my MVP. Peg was a stellar player. She won the ring. Debbie was great too. I mean, everybody was great. I just think Cindy did the most structured play in terms of this is when you need to do this. This is how you need to do this. And she ended it on this. I mean, I guess it's not an exotic play, but the way she did it was exotic, the self-elimination, where it was an airtight self-elimination that actually elevates your status within the nation instead of diminishes. And I just think she put herself in the position to be Golden Bachelorette in a better way than any other player did. And I hope she gets that opportunity.
It is kind of exotic because she didn't know if she was winning or not. Well, sometimes we'll see self-eliminations when people are like, it's already going this way.
Yeah. But you see a self-elimination pretty much every season in every iteration of Bachelor. You'll see at least one. To see it that late and to have it not be a make me stay like Brooks did to Desiree Hartsock. It's not an ultimatum. It's like, fuck you, I'm out, dude, you suck.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyways, thank you for joining us over the course of this recap of Golden Bachelor Season 2. We know it has been, to quote someone, a trudge. And we made it through. We hope you did too. Even if you didn't watch the show, we appreciate you listening to our recaps of it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I do think, for better or worse, this is an important season because it marks hopefully the rock bottom, the turning point into what is going to be a renaissance of this franchise with Taylor Frankie Paul, as I believe it will be in March, late March of 2029. Stick around.
Can't wait. Cannot wait. Join us for those Cosmic Wars. And praise be Dark Lord Palmer.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us. And then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.